You did that? So Tatsuya Iai signs with the Houston Astros, a move that has some Met fans scratching their heads. The question still remains: are the Mets trying to compete or contend in 2026? I don't know. Do I have the answers? Not really. I have my ideas. I have my ideas. Does David Stearns has a plan? I've been saying over and over, he's told us the plan. We just choose to ignore it. And do you have any New Year's resolutions for the New York Mets? I'm not someone who partakes in New Year's resolutions. As my boy Kweisi brought that up as maybe an idea topic, I've been trying to come up with one, but can't say that I have. Can't say that I have. But I'd be interested to see if you guys have any. And we also have a little surprise, something we may or may not try tonight, but something we want to introduce and talk about. All that, little more, little less. Who the hell knows? We intend this to be a quick one, but we already got started late. But what's a Blunt Thoughts Live that doesn't start late? What's a Blunt Thoughts Live that doesn't go maybe possibly a little longer than we wanted to? We'll see. Be right back.
We putting work, turning nothing into something. They feelings hurt, we turning nothing into something. Give a fuck if they don't like me, cause all this bread I count excites me. Turning nothing to something, nothing into something. Turning nothing into something.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's going on, everybody? What is going on? Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year, Mets fans. Happy New Year, sports fans. Happy New Year, any Knicks fans, Giants fan, anything. Any fan of any kind that's in here, any human of any kind. Happy New Year to you. Happy holidays and all that good stuff. And yeah, we were sitting here debating whether we should do this or not. I know we did a video yesterday and we kind of hinted that we may do this. So we figured why not? Why not have a little fun? And we did get some news today. News that was expected in May MLB, right? Everybody knew that. I think that's how you say the name, Tatsuya. Tatsuya. We're just gonna go with Iai for now, right? I think at least I have that part right. We knew Iai was gonna have to sign by today. You would think tomorrow's the deadline, but usually you need time for physicals and all that good stuff, and the contract to be approved through Major League Baseball and all of that. So that usually happens a couple of days before. I'm not saying this because I know or anything like that, but this is what it's been talked about lately, right? These deals with these Japanese players usually happens a couple of days before so that they can have time to get it all straight before the posting date expires. So we get the signing today, and it's obviously not to the New York Mets, but not only not to the New York Mets, but not to any of the teams that were rumored, right? Most recently, we had heard that it was maybe close or mutual interest between him and the White Sox, and there was talk of maybe a short-term deal like they did with Murakami, which it turns out it was a short-term deal, but it wasn't to the White Sox. Again, it was to the Astros. Someone that no one had talked about was linked to this guy. And like I said in the open there, it leaves some Met fans scratching their heads. Now, of course, you're going to have the Met fans say, who would want this guy? You didn't know who this guy was. Honestly, I don't know who this guy was. I'm not saying that I want it. I'm not saying anybody told me that, but that's some of the reaction that you get when, of course, Met fans are like, oh my goodness, another player, pitcher, whatever, but another free agent that could possibly help this team is signed, and it's not to the New York Mets. And it's for a deal that doesn't seem too outrageous, right? As it's 3 years, $63 million. Or it can turn out to be 3 years, $63 million. I think the base is $18 million a year. And some very easily attainable bonuses of $1 million at 80 innings, 90 innings, and 100 innings pitched. Which, why is that put in there? Is it because injury scare? Is it because I don't know? Then there's also an opt-out after each of the first 2 years. So again, it's a deal that you're like, man, this is something that should fall right in line with what David Stearns like to do. Is a short-term commitment. It's not an exuberant amount of money. Why wouldn't he make the deal? And not only why wouldn't he make the deal, we come to find out from John Heyman, you take it for what it's worth, that the Mets never even made an offer. The Mets never even made an offer. Now, I wonder what makes them not make an offer. Is it because you have no interest in the player? If you have no interest in the player, why the hell play with making an offer, right? He might fuck around and take your offer. And if you don't really want the player, you don't want to be stuck with that. You also don't want to be used and all of that nonsense. But this is a thought that I've had lately, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't even think I was going to start here. But I think what we're seeing right now in Major League Baseball is, and maybe this is not being done purposely, maybe it is being done purposely, maybe it has to do with what everybody keeps talking about, maybe a possible lockout coming up, right? Because the league may want to institute some kind of salary cap, some kind of what do you call it? But limitations on contracts. And the players want no part of it, right? Players want no part of it. But if we pay attention right now, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm being a little slow here, and I apologize because I'm trying to really explain this in a way that is really understood. I'm trying to really gather my thoughts and be able to put them out in words in a way that it's understood, how I'm thinking about it in my brain. But, and I've joked about this before, right, where I've said in some places, maybe here, I know in spaces or whatever, David Stearns is like a human salary cap. The league officers have to love David Stearns. The Players Association has to hate David Stearns. But if you go beyond further than that, if you look at what's going on right now, the New York Yankees are operating the way they're operating, which is more reserved. It's no more of the George Steinbrenner Yankees. Go out there, we want you, we're going to throw money around, we don't care what it takes. It's more calculated, right? Hal has come out and talked about wanting to be at a certain amount, maybe possibly getting under the threshold, right? Having an answer to investors and so on and so forth. And Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year, Patty. Happy New Year to everybody. I've seen the messages. I apologize. Trying to get in and out of here. But Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Then you have the Yankees trying to operate like the Tampa Bay Rays. You have the New York Mets, whom a lot of people thought were going to operate like the George Steinbrenner Yankees, and they did for a little while. And I'm not here taking a shot at Steve Cohen with this. Please listen. But you have the New York Mets now under David Stearns operating at a more cautious, more frugal, more, I don't know, responsible way, some would say. I may even say so myself. But if you have two of the biggest teams, right? If you have two of the biggest teams that are expected to raise the market on players, clearly not involved in any negotiations or really many rumors unless they're forced, then no wonder there's no market for a lot of these guys. Why, if you are a less team, a mid-market, a team that messes around sometimes and throws around money, would you even bother to go out there and do that right now with a Kyle Tucker, with a Cody Bellinger? When you know these other teams that should do it aren't going to do it, that could do it aren't going to do it. And then you have the fact that Major League Baseball, right now we all know this, I'm not breaking any ground here. You have the fact that Major League Baseball, that all front offices are operating the same thing with the same stupid numbers, the same made-up numbers. The WRC pluses, WRC this, the expected this, the FIP that. ERA plus this. They're all putting a certain value on these players, pretty much the same value. They're not willing to budge for the rare exception where a team like the Orioles, for whatever reason, says, you know what, we want to make a splash this offseason, so we're going to go out there and we may overextend ourselves and give Pete Alonso a deal. That's some are going to ridicule. Right? Unless you're the Toronto Blue Jays and you've been trying for years to spend a little money, you finally get Vladdy to take a deal. You make it all the way to the World Series, so you say, you know what? We got a little extra money now. Let's capitalize on this momentum that we have going on here. And maybe you throw a little bad money around. As what was it? They bought the Dylan Cease for what? $210 million, whatever the hell it was. But other than that, it's all these teams thinking the same about the same players. And then two of the teams that you would expect would go out there and say, you know what, to hell with that. To hell with all these metrics. We want this guy. We're going to go all out. Are refusing to do that. The New York Mets and the New York Yankees are actually suppressing the market. But no, mind. Then you have John Heyman, throwing a little something at Met fans. Oh, they never made an offer. Yankees never made an offer. But guess what? They're both in on Cody Bellinger. They're both in on Cody Bellinger. Listen, I'm going to tell you guys right now. Before I say that, I want to go back. See if I find it here. Give me a second. I want to go back here. Real quick. And I want to listen to David Stearns. And this is way back. Let me see if I find it here. So I had it before. Now I've lost it. Oh, this is the funny one, too. When he said, I'm confident that we're making progress to ultimately make some transactions that we think really help our team and our organization going forward. That was on December 8th at, I believe, the GM meetings, right? Those were the ones that came first. Still waiting, David. And listen, there's plenty of time. There's plenty of time, as he tells us in the video that I'm looking for here, if I ever find it. If I ever find it. And like I said, we're going to run through this pretty damn quick, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty damn quick. I think it was here. Here we go. Here we go. It's in this bunch. It's in this bunch. What the hell? Oh, this is bad business. This is bad business. Here we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. On November 11th, was this the GM meetings? I don't know. But this is when he was in the hotel speaking up against the wall, giving us his nice smile. And this is what David Stern has to say. And this is for people that say, there's no plan. What is the plan? He's told us what the plan is a million times. And this is one of those times.
We have to be aware of. We also.
This is one of those times.
And I don't want to put philosophy in my words, but it felt like you love the idea, like the idea of flexibility, roster-wise, being able to maneuver. But at some point, you begin to landlock yourself, don't you?
Yes, there is a tipping point there, and roster flexibility is important, and being able to evaluate your team on an annual basis to determine where the needs are, I think is very important. I don't think we're landlocked yet, but it's something we have to be aware of. We also have to be cognizant of we've got some really good young players coming, and we're very optimistic about what our team is going to look like going forward. We need to give young players a chance to play. And as we go through this offseason and likely future off seasons, part of the balance is going to be filling the team with players who we think make us better and keep us competing at a very high level, while also allowing space for our younger players to get to the major league level and have a legitimate shot to contribute here.
As I real quick glanced at your comments, and shout out to everybody in the room. I apologize, I haven't really been able to get to the comments. As I glance real quick at the comments, and I see, who was it? My guy Dolo. Haven't seen you in a minute. How you doing, Dolo? Who says he's lying through his teeth. Is he really? This is why I wanted to play this again. Because we keep saying, please tell us what the plan is. Please tell us what the plan is. He's told us the plan. It's just that we don't like it. We don't want to hear it. Let's play it again. Let's play it again real quick. Just bear with me. Just bear with me.
Roster-wise, being able to maneuver, but at some point you begin to landlock yourself, don't you?
Yes, there is a tipping point there, and roster flexibility is important.
And Anthony DeComo was asking him about roster flexibility, and when there's a point where you're gonna have to go out there and do something. And what did he say? Yeah, there's a tipping point. Well, guess what? This is not the tipping point. This is not the tipping point for him just yet.
Being able to evaluate your team on an annual basis to determine where the needs are, I think is very important. I don't think we're landlocked yet, but it's something we have to be aware of. We also have to be cognizant of we've got some really good young players coming.
We have to be cognizant that we have some really good young players coming. How many times have we heard this? How many times have we heard about the young players and the need to give the young players a lane to show what they have? He keeps telling us this over and over and over and over. And this is why I keep saying, when you guys think about a player, when somebody like shout out Sleeper Mets post, the Mets are linked to this guy, the Mets are linked to that guy, ask yourself this. Will this player stand in the way of these young guys that David Stearns keeps telling us that he thinks very highly of and they need to give some time to? Just ask yourself that question. And that even applies to a guy like Mark Vientos, in my opinion. When you think about bringing him in the bat and plugging him in at DH, ask yourself, what that bat is going to cost, is it worth the value? And is it more value than a Mark Vientos, who's going to cost you $1 million probably, and can give you what you may possibly bid in, or then some? Just ask yourself that.
And we're very optimistic about what our team is going to look like going forward. We need to give young players a chance to play. And as we go through this offseason and likely future off seasons, part of the balance is going to be filling the team with players who we think make us better and keep us competing at a very high level, while also allow.
My favorite word, bringing players that make us better and keep us, guess what? Competing at a very high level. And that's the key to me. Competing. That's a good one, Ray. Win prevention. Competing at a very high level. But guess what? We as fans want a team and moves that we feel will have us to be contenders. Right? But I keep also saying this. In David Stearns' eyes, and this is my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, this is my humble opinion. In David Stearns' eyes, he doesn't see this team as contenders in 2026. It's unfortunate. And in my opinion, And this is where the gray area is, right? Where even I myself is like, but heck, how? How? But he just doesn't feel like, in my opinion, he could make this team a legit contender in 2026, maybe even 2027. And you want to say that the lockout possibility is playing into that? Maybe. So you can say, why the hell am I going to lock myself into contracts that are not going to get me to the finish line, which is to win a World Series? I still have to think, although I know there's a lot of you in here, excuse me, that think otherwise, that is his goal, is to turn this team into a World Series contender. It's just that we won it in 2026, and he doesn't see it there. I was having this conversation with my buddy Joe a couple days ago. Hector, but how long, Hector? I said, Joe, if you really think about it, this is really kind of year one of the on-field turnaround or rebuild of this roster, of this team. Him rebuilding the organization and improving upon that, he's been doing since he got here, right? We can debate it. And I'm not going to go through all the details because, quite frankly, I don't have all the details and I'm bored by them. But we've seen the improvement in the rankings. We've seen the improvement in how the farm system is spoken about and looked at throughout the league with more respect, right? We were an organization that we were laughed at when it came to our farm system. We couldn't get in conversations on trades because our farm system was so bad, right? That is no longer the case. The Mets farm is ranked in the top 3 in most places. So we have to give him credit for that. He's retooled the way we develop everything. Right? He's brought people in here in the minor leagues, front office level, in the development level, training staff, whatever. To the point where it has us looked at as a better organization all around. It's just the product on the field right now that has us scratching our heads. Right? I said earlier, what the hell did I say? Most of these things don't fit the soft rebuild that we're doing. And of course, the genius is, what are you talking about, you idiot? That is so stupid to say. What the fuck is that? I say, I don't even need to interact with you. Again, you may not have liked them, right? And this is why the reaction is as such. When you remove 4 major pieces from a team and you need to replace those pieces, you're rebuilding the team. How the hell you do it is up to you. You can either go completely young and lose for a few years and be the Marlins, be the Astros, be whatever the hell you want to be. And when I say the Astros, I mean the Astros that did it for a few years and then we saw the success. Or you can do it in a way where, what did he just say? We remain competitive. We remain competitive while not hindering the young guys from coming in and showing what they got. But that's what's going on right now. Over and over, he's told us about building from within and the pitching and how expensive it is and how much they believe on these young guys. And that's also carried over into position players. And to the point where he's told us Carson Bench could possibly be our opening day left fielder. He's told us what the plan is. We just don't want to hear it. We just don't want to hear it. But the plan is there. And to me is to compete. Yeah, we're going to compete in 26. We're going to build a team that competes. And if we get lucky, maybe we win. Maybe we're one of those teams that comes out of nowhere, surprises, it gets in as a wild card. This time around, he makes the right moves, or the moves that he makes at the deadline actually pan out. But I don't know. But let's check out your comments real quick. Let's check out your comments as we talk about something new. Because again, we're gonna do this real quick. My guy Kweisi, man. Shout out to the homie Kweisi. I think you guys a few comments start here. Let's see what we got here. My guy Junior says, I'm fully prepared to compete for about 75, 80 wins this season. I'm just looking forward to see how these kids produce with no winning expectations. I'm not sure how to take that. You like the fact that they're going to show how they produce with no winning expectations? Or should we not always expect them to win? Or, like, what do you say? What do you mean? Whatever. I got to just stay focused on one thing. I'm trying to read too many things at once. But that's what we're going to get. Listen, 75 to 80 wins. The reality is we also need to have some bounce back from some of these guys. And we'll see if Beatty's able to sustain his whatever the hell he did last year, which I'm not convinced. But anyways. Ramos says, heck, I don't know why some fans keep waiting on something to happen. If you haven't figured out Stearns is rebuilding and not interested in anything outside the organization, you will be disappointed. Yeah. It's just, what kind of rebuilding? I don't think it's a rebuild, like, again, like we're going to tank. And because then that doesn't make sense. Then you would find a way to move Lindor. You would owe Juan Soto an apology. That's why, like, what I said before, where I struggle in, where the gray area is where the people that say, like, damn, but how can you talk about a rebuild and you still have these players here? Well, that's why you bring in a Jorge Polanco, right? That's why you trade for Marcus Semien, because you're still trying to compete. You still got viable veteran players there, right? And then you have the young hopefuls in Alvarez, Beatty, Vientos, Mauricio, the slug in Acuna. I believe if Sanger or Peterson were traded, Mets would have been in on Iai. Yeah, well, you can't. It's up to them to trade him. It's up to them to trade him, Armand. You know what I'm saying? They ain't make that move. So if they really wanted to go get Iai, and the way to get him was to trade him, like you're saying, then they could have made the trade. I don't care what nobody says. You want to tell me there's going to be teams out there that will take a David Peterson with a year or two of control? Still with room to grow? Hell yeah. It's just, you got to be willing to make the trade. One second here, ladies and gentlemen. What do we got? The 2026 season is a discount Dave era. It's going to be an interesting one way or another. We'll see. Bruno says, dude, what is Stearns doing? He has no idea. Am I at a bargain? He balks. The same thing with the first baseman. I wouldn't say he has no idea. It's just not what we want. And again, I can't make any excuses for that in my idea, except for maybe they didn't think it was good enough. Maybe they didn't think it was good enough, you know? So again, if you don't think a player is good enough, why the hell go out there and make an offer that he may mess around and take that you don't really want to be into? Listen, Jim, not only that, right? He spoke about run prevention, says Jim, early on in the offseason, but he brought in a guy to play first that has one major league inning at first in his career. Shaking my damn head. But hey, guess what? Guess what? We saw some videos of some great footwork out there this weekend, right? Some great footwork. And right away, people are like, oh, look, so much better than Pete Alonso. You know who puts out great videos in the off season? Making threes all day, and all kinds of offensive moves, and can't give us 6 points consistently if you're a Knicks fan? Mitchell Robinson. So save me your fucking off-season videos. All right? You know who had great, nice off-season videos last year? And there was talk about him working with the captain, Mark Vientos. Anybody want to put Mark Vientos at third base this year? So save me your damn videos. I'm not saying that doesn't mean that he can't be good. It's just that it's funny. So yeah, I totally understand. Run prevention. And we're going to get rid of a guy who just because, yeah, he struggles with throws. He struggles with throws. But a guy who's very competent at playing the position. For a guy who's a novice, who was an experiment. But whatever. I don't know if it's just, I would say necessarily following David Stearns' philosophy. Like I said, I think they're all sharing the same thing, man. They all have all these same analytics. And they're all the same way, just like batting average. They're all figured out the same way, pretty much. So what? It adjusts a little bit different maybe for your ballpark, for X player. Okay. But it's still the same thing, right? So I don't know if it's following Stearns' philosophy or it's just following the overall philosophy in baseball, the new way of thinking in baseball and putting value on these players and not wanting to exceed this value and trying to keep emotion out of it and just making sound business decisions. You know what I'm saying? Market this and market that. And ROI. Right? Every time I hear shit like that, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Oh, return on investment. Okay. Right. I'm not an investment banker. I'm a baseball fan. I'm a baseball fan. So I don't know if it's copying Stearns or it's just that's just what it is, man. This is what was created by Scott Boras, Bill James, them people, right? Because all of this, all these new stats to me is all shout out to my guy Anthony, man. I was watching their show last night. And I agree with him 1,000%. I've said it a million times. It's agent front office speak. That's all it is. Agent front office speak. Nothing else. Nothing else. What? Whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, as abruptly as we do here, as we keep reading the comments. See, the comments are great. Comments are great. But it's been talked about before. What's up, Mets Blues? It's been talked about before. Some people suggested, asked, hey, it'd be nice. It'd be nice if you could call We could call. And for those that are on X, I know we do the spaces, and that's a way of almost like doing phone calls or whatever you might want to call it, right? But if you're on YouTube and you're not on X, you don't like to be on X, you don't really like social media. I like it, but it's YouTube. So it's a little different, right? It's a little different. And maybe, typing is not your thing, or you just want to get your voice out there. We're going to try something different here on Blunt Thoughts. We're going to experiment with something. We're not sure how long we'll do this, right? Because it isn't free for me, at least. It isn't free for me, but it's something that we can have a lot of fun with. It's something that we could possibly use the super sticker, super chat, and all that good stuff that comes through sometimes to go and help towards this. But we're going to implement phone calls, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to implement phone calls here on Blunt Thoughts. We're going to take out your phone, take your phone calls. We're going to give out a number, local. Is it local U.S. number? Put it out there. It's a local U.S. number. If we keep doing this, if it turns out well, maybe we'll make it a toll-free number so we get more people to join. And yeah, so I hope you guys like that. I hope you guys partake in that. I'm sorry, because I'm trying to do a million things at once as I try to get that ready, because maybe we'll take some tonight. Maybe somebody wants to go ahead and call and talk tonight. And how about this? What is your New Year's resolutions as it comes to the New York Mets? Give me a call. Let me know. What is the plan in your idea and in your mind for the New York Mets, for David Stearns? Give us a call. Let us know. Again, but I just wanted to put it out there tonight. I don't know what the hell Kweisi's doing and why he hasn't put up the number yet. Like, we didn't talk about this, but he's back there sleeping, probably playing his fucking PlayStation as we're doing the show. But hey, what can I do? But there's the numbers, ladies and gentlemen. You can now call into Blunt Thoughts. It's not quite ready yet. I'm going to activate it right now. And yeah. So if you want to call in real quick before we get out of here. But this is just how I see it, ladies and gentlemen. There is a plan. We've been told what the plan is. We just don't necessarily like the plan. We just don't necessarily like the plan, right? So we're like, what the hell is this? But the plan is there. The plan is to compete. Because in my opinion, David Stearns doesn't see the New York Mets as World Series contenders in 2026. I don't necessarily agree. Thank you, Patty. Thank you. As Patty wastes no time and says her New Year's resolution is fire David Stearns. Let me tell you guys something. If I'm going to say I have a New Year's resolution, I think is, come on, Game for War. It can't be F the Mets. It cannot be F the Mets. It can't be F the Mets. You gonna stop being a Met fan? I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Hey, Dolo, I hope it is. How about you become the first caller? Oh, but there's the numbers, 347-835-5767. 347-835-5767. When you call, you're going to hear my boy Kweisi. He's going to get your info real quick, your number, your name. Tell him where you're calling from, whatever the goal is. We're going to act like a fake radio station here when we do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say don't curse, but let's try to be respectful. You know what I mean? We ain't kids, but I'm sure we can express ourselves without cursing. But other than that, we're just going to have fun with it. We're just going to have fun with it. That's all it is. We're going to have fun with it. We're going to have fun with it. But yeah. Who's the what is it? I think Sunday for Okamoto, right? Is the deadline for him. Will he fit into the Mets' plans? I don't think so. I don't think so. I know people see him as someone who can Kersey's okay, Patty. Kersey's okay. um, I don't know. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. One thing I can't do is I'm not gonna come out and I'm gonna give you my master plan to the Mets. Because besides the fact that I keep telling you guys that in my opinion it's a soft rebuild and David Stearns doesn't want to go out there and invest in someone that, because he doesn't think he's gonna win this year. Other than that, I don't know what the plan is. I really don't. Like, you know what? I think this guy fits. Because how many players have we said, okay, this guy may fit into what David Stern's line of thinking, and then he goes and signs somewhere else. Again, if you look at this Iai contract, why not? Even with the opt-outs. But then again, it's like, wait a minute. Am I going to bring in another Japanese pitcher in here who may need to pitch every 6 days? Right? When I already have Kodai Senga here. When what we're really looking for, what we really need, is a top of the rotation guy. Is Iai that? I don't know. I don't know anything about the dude. But you know who should know? Is David Stearns and his people that get paid to figure these things out. You know what I'm saying? So I think my resolution is going to be a little bit more patient. And it's going to be more of what I've been doing lately and just keeping an open mind. And given this process here, like I started to say before, that kind of just started. A chance to play out. It's not fun. It's not what I would like. I came into the offseason saying, yo, go get me a Framber Valdez. I remember when I had Sal on after the offseason and we were talking, and when he suggested maybe trading Lindor, and when he was saying, yo, there's no way you could come back with this team. And he straight up asked me, like, you would come back with this team by just making moves or whatever, like change team? And I said, yeah, I would. Absolutely. Absolutely, I would. And one of those changes that I thought would be to go out there and go get me a frontline starter. Go get me somebody I can put at the top of the rotation. Who's that guy? I don't really know. I came into the offseason thinking maybe a Framber Valdez. But do I want to give him 7 years? Not really. Not really. So I get it. So this is why I'm like, you know what? I have to keep an open mind. And I got to give this some time. My guy, M. Easy. Haven't heard from you in a while. We got to combine 26 home runs from Vientos and Alvarez last season. 26. We were expecting at the very least 45 to 50 home runs combined from them. Okay. So what's exactly your point here? That we should be okay because we're going to get it this year? I'm not sure. Can you expand on that? You want to give me a call, Amizi? 347-835-5767. Who's it going to be? Who's going to be the first call of the Blunt Thoughts? So we're going to get out of here with no calls on the first night, and it's going to be a failure, and we're never going to do it again. Nah, we're not. We'll keep trying. Though. We keep trying. Uh-oh. Let's see what we got here. Tony says, I trust in Stearns. Oof. And by the All-Star break, when we, in fact, in first place, I don't want to see these whining bitches in here cheering for the Mets because you are not real fans. Couple of things here, my guy, Tony. Couple of things, man. Trust. See, I'm not one of those trust guys. Trust the process. Trust the process. Trust the process. And this and this and that. So you're never gonna hear that from me. I'm gonna be open-minded. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I I don't know if I trust it. And even though I'm so I'm someone who shares in a lot of the thinking. But trust the process. And then I don't like when people say, well, so we can't have an opinion unless it's a positive one all the time and it's kissing the team's ass. If you don't have that kind of opinion, then when the team wins, you can enjoy that success. You're probably the type of person who's going to tell me that now I can't enjoy the Knicks' success because I've criticized it along the way. And I haven't said, oh, we got to trust everything. Trust the process. Don't worry about it. Nah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I'm sorry. It sounds easy. It sounds easy. We'll see. Does Suarez make sense for the Mets? Ask yourself this question. How much is Eugenio Suarez going to cost? Even though, what? He's going to be a 2-year deal, maybe? 3-year deal? I don't know. I don't even want to put an AAV on it. Whatever the hell it is. Can Mark Vientos give you that for $1 million? That's how David Stearns is going to look at it. Oh, but Mark Vientos can't play third base. Brett Beatty can. Can Brett Beatty do it? Anyways, on that note, it looks like we have a caller. I'm going to hope that Kweisi did his job. What happened? You think I can hear you? I can't hear you, my guy. You know that. I don't know what Kweisi's trying to tell me, but he puts up a caller here. And now, okay. I see. That's what I'm saying. Just relax, bro. I got you. I got you. I'm a little reluctant to go to this, right? Because the name, I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to call you D from Manhattan. What happened? You took him back? Why you take him back? Crazy scared. Let's take our first call. And let's see if our first call is going to be a troll. D is calling from Manhattan. D, what's going on?
Let me tell you something, Hector. I tell you this. Look, when David Stearns walked, the street shine when he walked. When you walk, you don't. The street don't shine.
Nice. That's what you got? That's what you got. That's what you got. You made this fake voice to come tell me that when David Stearns walks, the street shines. Wow. The street shines, and when I walk, the street don't shine. What does the street do when you walk? You think it shines when you walk? You think you just shine with that call? Wow. Woo. This is what we've integrated phone calls for, so we could get calls like that. Anyways. Let me see. What do we got here? Any more New Year's resolutions from anybody? Listen, he kind of did, Dolo. I thought about that too. Like, yo, how you give Frankie Montas that deal? How you? It's all good, Carlos. How you give Frankie Montas that deal, but you're not willing to do this with Iai? But I guess it's because he's the unknown, at least for us, right? But maybe the scouting department didn't feel like it was worth it. Maybe they didn't feel like it was worth it. And again, but to bring in another Japanese pitcher when you haven't been able to trade Senga, maybe they're like, you know what? Senga doesn't want to be traded. Let's keep him around. That's a good one, Carlos. Carlos says to that idiot D, I can't find it here. Stearns is actually scared to walk the streets. Exactly. Exactly, Patty. I wonder which one of the great trolls that took his time to actually make a phone call to make that comment. Oh my gosh. Funny stuff, funny stuff, funny stuff, funny stuff. Let's see. See if I had anything else here. If not, we'll get out of here. So I just wanted to come in real quick, touch base here on the new year, man. But it's a new year. It's definitely gonna be a new Mets. Definitely gonna be the new Mets. We've been talked about that for a while now. Definitely gonna be the new Mets. Hey, if the young guys work out, it'd be great, Petey. And I know I'm rooting for it. I know you're rooting for it. Isn't that what we want? Which young guys are you referring to, though? Right? The McLeans and the Carson Benjes and them? That'd be great. Alvy and take a pick. Gonna work out. Beatty, Vientos, Mauricio Acuna. Are we gonna ever clear that log jam? You know what I'm saying? That seems to be a little bit of a log jam. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair, Ray. New start. Where are we about to finish? So you talk about those guys, huh, PD? The guys that we haven't even seen. Benj, the Jet Williams. But the thing is, and that's what frustrates people. When is that going to work out, though, PD, right? When is that going to work out? We know Benj is possibly close. Right? We know Benj is possibly close. We know Davis just has told us he's going to have a shot right out of spring training. We all think McLean is going to work out. Is one of the two or one of the three or two of the three of Jonathan, Brandon Sproat, the coming back from surgery, Christian Scott, going to work out? What's up, Frank? How you doing? Right? So, yeah, if those guys work out, a lot of the reason why we're here in the situation that we are now is because some young guys haven't worked out, right? Dom Smith didn't work out. Michael Conforto didn't work out. The pitchers didn't necessarily work out, whether because we let them go or injury or performance, right? When you talk about Steven Matz, didn't really, perform after a while. Zach Wheeler, we gave up on too early, obviously. Jacob deGrom could never stay healthy. Did we give up on him too early? I don't know. Matt Harvey fell apart. So, yeah, if the young guys work out, it's great. But isn't that always the case? Isn't that always the case? We'll have to get over that we can't pay 25 guys 25 million plus a year. I don't have to get over that because I've never felt like we should or need or have to. But I totally understand your sentiment, and I agree. You can't do that. Patty says she'd take 89 wins. If it leads to a playoffs, I'll take 89 wins. I'll take whatever wins get us in the playoffs at this point. I take whatever wins gets in the playoffs at this point, ladies and gentlemen. Ideally, I like to go into a season saying, you know what? We are a legit division contender, a World Series contender that should win a division. Like, that's the kind of team I want to be. You think the Dodgers fans are talking about just getting in the playoffs, maybe winning 85, 87 games? Hell no. Talk about winning the division once again, or competing to win the division once again, contending to win the division once again, and contending, being favorites, contending, being favorites to win the damn World Series. That's the problem. As Sal says, my dream trade is trading for Buxton and Ryan. Buxton, when healthy, is a star. When is Buxton healthy, though? Right? I think this season was his healthiest season, and he still, I think, ended up finishing on the IL. I forget. But when is he healthy? And then when it comes to Ryan, I just don't see what everybody sees with Ryan just by looking at the numbers. Like, when we keep talking about a guy that's going to be an ace, I mean, I guess you could put him up there, a little bit more experience. You could put him up there to kind of lead with McLean and Senga and Manaya and them, and he should be better than Manaya for sure. When Senga's healthy, along the lines of Buxton being healthy, but when Senga's healthy, he's pretty damn good too. He's pretty damn good too. What do I think about Christian Scott? I think it's incomplete. I think I'm not sure yet. Game for War says mismanagement ruined the ground and the pitchers like Harvey just like it destroyed the core. Blaming team faves instead of bad coaching and managing. Not blaming anybody in particular, dude. I'm just talking about what the hell happened. You want to blame management. You want to blame trainers. The bottom line is it didn't freaking work out. It didn't work out. So when we talk about what if the young guys work out? I'm just giving examples of when it didn't work out. The reasons why are multiple. You want to entirely blame everybody else for the ground? I guess. But it's not, nobody could push that guy. He would sit games. He would come out of games over any little discomfort. So I really don't want to hear that. I agree with that. I thought Sandy killed us on 2015. Letting Daniel Murphy go bring in Neil Walker. Jay Bruce, like, give me a fucking break. Made me sick.
It makes me sick.
Entirely. Ramos says, we all wish we would play well and win next season, but as currently constructed, I'm honestly looking at a 500 team at best. Now, the thing is, I really don't think, right? I think none of us think that we're going to go into the season with this team per se. Although, I don't think it'll be much different. I don't think it'll be much different. But anyways, for a show that was supposed to be real quick, here we are at an hour. Again, we want to try the phone calls. You guys gonna let it be just one show. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. You know what? The fact that we were excited to try out this phone call business, and the only thing we got was one troll phone call. You know what that does?
It makes me sick.
But anyways, I still love you guys. I get it. I get it. Who the hell wants to waste their time making phone calls to talk my dope ass? One day you will, though. One day you will, whether it be here or somewhere else. In any case, listen, there's a plan. There's a plan. It just kind of makes us sick because it doesn't give us the feeling that we're trying to contend in 2026. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Even some of these players that are still out there falling in Davis Stearns' lap. Hey, maybe Framber Valdez says, you know what? To hell with it. I like Davis Stearns. There's a couple of Dominicans over there. I like the restaurants in New York. Let me go mess around for 3 years. And Davis Stearns says, you know what? That's to my liking. Maybe not. Maybe Cody Bellinger takes another prove-it deal and says, you know what? I'm not going to do it in the Bronx in the Little League Park this time. Let me go and do it in Citi Field for 3 years with an opt-out. I don't see it happening. Will Kyle Tucker fall in his laps? That's what he's waiting for, the J.D. Martinez of 2026. It didn't happen in 25. Maybe it happens in 26. But I don't know. A show called What the Heck? A show called this? Why do you guys keep wanting to change the name of the show? You guys don't like Blunt Thoughts. Maybe we change the name of the show. I don't know. But no, this is the show. Call this damn show if you want to call a show. This is the show to call. Not today, because we're getting the hell out of here. And then Sal says, Hector, what's your plan from here on out? What do you mean, what's my plan from here on out? For the Mets or for me personally? I have no idea on either count. I have no idea on either count. I had plans for my evening. Those have just been blown up because I want to come here and hang out with you guys and possibly get a call. And instead, you guys let me get trolled. So again, you guys.
It makes me sick.
Make me sick. Anyways, love you guys, man. Let's see. Definitely won't be here tomorrow. Got a big day tomorrow. Sunday night. Okay, here I got you, Sal. My plan, part of my plan going forward is to start incorporating some more Knicks talk. Right? I want to start talking about my Knicks. I love my Knicks. I love my Knicks. Now, they made me sick for a while, so I kind of like, And then I've said it before. Yo, the Mets broke my heart so bad in 2022 that I had no desire of getting into the Knicks. At the same time, we had the Knicks give us a little excitement. I know, with Julius Randle and them. And then that was broken up. Yo, Ibby, what up, my guy? Ibby says, oh, man, ice cold Mets only. Nah, no Knicks. Come on, Ibby, we got to throw in the Knicks, man. We got to throw in the Knicks. So I can really get ridiculed. And then people will really call then and curse me out. You don't deserve to talk about the Knicks. But again, man, I'm just a fan, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a fan, man. I'm not a geek. I'm not a math major. I'm not a financial expert. I'm a frustrated athlete or a frustrated wannabe athlete. What the fuck am I? What am I doing calling myself an athlete? I'm a frustrated wannabe. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. That's how I look at the game. That's how I try to talk about the games. As a frustrated wannabe fan. That's all. That's all. In any case, man. So we'll possibly see you Sunday night. But that's the plan, Sal. That's the plan to talk a little bit more next, even if it's going to upset my guy, Ibby. Still got to have you on, Ibby. Still got to have you on. We won't talk about that. I've been meaning to hit you up about that. But, it's been the holidays. Have my guy, Ibby, on from Till to his part. Shout out to those guys, man. Even though his partner doesn't like me much. I don't give a damn. Anyways, now it's time to go for real. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you Sunday night. I know. There's no plan, Hector, but guess what? Even though who was it early on who said the plan is for me to quit on the Mets or something like that? You're a liar. You're a liar. We don't quit. That's the problem. Players come and go, front offices come and go, and we're still here. And this is why we're frustrated. And sometimes we carry all the frustration from all those years. I'm going to be 50 at the end of this month. I'm carrying 40 years of frustration because I remember about 42 or so. I remember, I'm saying 84 when we started getting. Anyways. But the reality is, nah. This is now. We need to give these guys a chance. I'm not telling you have to. I'm just saying that's just my opinion. We need to be a little bit more open-minded, a little bit more patient. I'm not patient. And we'll see what happens. But having said all that, I said all that to say it's always let's go Mets. You already know what it is. Take us out, Kweisi. Peace.